Hi, this is Janessa Zickafoos from the Mother Hive. Today I'm going to discuss how to restore gut health. So let's start with why gut health matters. My embarrassing struggle with gut health began during my teenage years with discomfort, gas, and uncontrollable belching. By age 22, I was on a prescription proton pump inhibitor and undergoing extensive testing for stomach and esophageal problems. My gut struggles were impacting my daily life and even led to struggles in my job. As a field sales representative, I spent a lot of time on the road, remote country roads actually, and that meant being far from a bathroom. So additionally, my stomach was so sensitive to stress and anxiety that I would have to cancel meetings or miss out on social gatherings. And so I knew I had to make some changes. And I started with my diet by reducing acidic foods such as tomatoes, black tea, and chocolate. And I also slept elevated in my bed to attempt to reduce reflux. I also started working on managing stress and was eventually able to eliminate the prescription medication. But unfortunately, these lifestyle and diet changes were not enough to end my struggle with gut health. Over the years, my gut imbalances continued to worsen no matter how many diet changes I tried, including going vegan, gluten-free, dairy-free, corn-free, soy-free, all the frees. So throw in years of antibiotic use for Lyme and other tick-borne co-infections and decades of use of NSAIDs to manage chronic low back pain, and you've got a recipe for a gut health implosion. So eventually my symptoms were daily and I was unable to eat protein without doubling over in pain. I'd barely be able to get through a family meal and end up feeling so sick afterwards that I would just go to bed, tossing and turning, trying to make the gas and the pain stop. And finally, at my wit's end, I started hearing about the gut microbiome and realized I needed to get more support. So luckily, I found an amazing physician who introduced me to the various types of gut imbalances and ways to get started restoring balance within my gut microbiome. So it was a long road, but so worth the effort to finally be able to enjoy food again. And while there is much overlap in symptoms, there are some recognizable and distinguishing signs of some of the most common gut health imbalances. So we're going to talk next about 4 of those common imbalances in gut health. And the gut microbiome needs to be diverse and balanced between so-called good and bad bacteria and other organisms. And when this balance is off, you might experience obvious digestive symptoms like bloating, constipation, gas, brain fog, fatigue, or sugar intolerance or cravings. However, there are other conditions which dysbiosis can contribute to. So it's worth considering the connection, especially if you have symptoms that seem to be quote unquote unexplained or chronic. So here are the most common types of gut imbalances according to Dr. Aviva Romm in Hormone Intelligence. Constipation, let's start there, is usually due to insufficient fiber in the diet, but can also be a result of microbiome imbalances or stress. And sometimes there can be an emotional component, a need to draw inward and hold on to seek control. So if you're experiencing ongoing constipation, consider adding a magnesium supplement to your nightly routine. Just make sure it's magnesium citrate, a form that is known to support regular bowel movements. You can also reflect on the question, where in my life am I holding on to what no longer serves me? And dysbiosis has many known causes, including stress, fiber insufficiency, use of antibiotics, especially long-term, a lack of variety in foods that you consume, and even inflammation or infections. And some of the symptoms include digestive upset, fatigue, especially after eating, brain fog, chronic yeast infections, and then craving sugars and carbs. One powerful step towards restoring balance is to eliminate sugars and start including more fermented foods and yogurts. In addition, you can consider adding prebiotics and probiotics to help restore gut health flora. Leaky gut can be triggered by many things, including food intolerances, alcohol, use of medications and antibiotics, and you guessed it, stress. Dysbiosis is another cause of leaky gut, and there's a long list of symptoms that could point to a leaky gut, but some of them include feeling tired, experiencing joint pain or swelling, trouble focusing or anxiety, depression, or mood changes. This can be a long healing process, but very beneficial given the strong connection between gut and hormone health. So let's talk about irritable bowel syndrome, or IBS. It's caused often by trauma, stress, or endometriosis. And some of the common symptoms of IBS include bloating, fat in stools, or either constipation or loose stools. In addition to dietary changes, ginger is a great herbal ally for IBS. It can be used in either tea, tincture, or capsule form. And I'd like to also talk a little bit about stress management for gut health. So what do all of these gut imbalances that we've been talking about have in common? Stress. So be sure to include stress management techniques in your wellness plan if you are experiencing gut imbalances. Often the activities that are known to reduce stress can also support healthy digestion. Some examples of these activities include mindfulness, meditation, physical exercise, yoga, or just spending time in nature. Remember, it's totally okay to start small. Sometimes I find these small shifts are much easier to maintain and build upon over time, rather than attempting to make large, sweeping changes to my daily routine, which never seem to work and end in feelings of overwhelm, guilt, and shame. So a little bit about mindful eating for gut health. Mindful eating is when you apply the principles of mindfulness to eating. So mindful eating includes tuning into your body's signals, noticing when you feel hungry, full, or are experiencing certain cravings. While you could keep a food journal to record your observations, you could also just try to focus more on your meal while you are eating. For example, I've started eating my breakfast outside without my phone so that I can practice eating more mindfully while listening to the birds and getting exposure to daylight early in the morning hours, which is also so helpful for circadian rhythms and sleep, rather than mindlessly scrolling through social media while I inhale my oatmeal and berries. So dietary choices for gut health. Some of the best foods to eat for gut health are plant-based, so the more varied, the better. A high-fiber diet is really important to a healthy microbiome. So try eating 8 to 10 servings of vegetables and fruit each day. You can also include 2 tablespoons of ground flaxseed. This is nice in smoothies, juice, sprinkled on salad. Freshly ground is best. But in addition to high amounts of fiber, healthy fats such as avocado, ghee, or clarified butter, walnuts, salmon are also important to minimizing inflammation of the gut lining. In addition to probiotics, you can look to add prebiotic foods or supplements as well. Garlic and onions are 2 well-known probiotic vegetables. And there are some wonderful choices for probiotic foods such as krauts, kimchi, or even coconut kefir. Above all, remember to nourish and treat your gut lining with care. The more nourished and healthy your gut, the more balanced you and your hormones will be.